Respect, but that's a sign of they can respect you, but if you're not winning, it's not worthy of it. Your boss and your entity is not going to send you out there.
My question on that note was, in the last month after following his fight, you had the media.
What fight?
The Caparillo Kovalev fight.
Yeah.
The media surrounded Kathy and him after the fight, and the questioning turned to testing on this fight. And my question to you is, as someone who's so conditioned and so, it's legendary, your conditioning. How offensive is it to you? Because it seemed to be that certain media members were inferring that you need to be tested for it.
For what?
For performance-enhancing drugs.
It depends on who it was who said it, and depend on how their health look. If a guy's fat, sloppy, bad habits, it could be an agenda. And especially if he's a guy that's been sitting, waiting patiently for the unexpected to happen, that he expects to happen. It could be an agenda behind it. But one thing I understand, that human beings accept certain things to certain levels. But when you start doing things at 40, but they already bragged about you when you was in your late 30s and your 40s, but now the numbers is getting higher up into the age, and so now they flipping some and say, wait a minute. At 35, okay. At 40, okay. Gotta be done now. And then, oh my God. So I think that there are going to be people that's going to not believe that the day is what it is, whether it's Monday, whether it's Tuesday, and the day is Tuesday. It's as crazy as that might sound. But they go back 10, 15 years when they wasn't talking about or suggesting this or that. There was the same people saying he's this, he's that, because they thought that one day they would say, well, I guess he's not really what he said he is, or I guess the Father Time then finally caught up on him. So their patience ran out. A lot of those people that, not a lot, but some of those who might say that, their patience ran out for my demise, and now you have to relate to being in a different way, anger or character assassination. Because one thing I know, that if you're around me and you follow me, you understand my lifestyle that some just can't understand. And that's cool, because I live this. I live this. I admit that I'm in an era that changed in a lot of ways, good and bad. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. And so I continue to do what I gotta do, but God knows what they might say when I get this guy and make him look amateurish and take away his weapon, and they'll say something else. But that's cool with me. It really is. It's cool with me. Because at the end of the day, I will silence them up also, or they will become fans. And that's cool.
You've donated money to Frazier's statue, and now you're doing the Frazier Gym. What is it about Joe Frazier that you're really about preserving his legacy?
Because I believe that he came in an era, and the reason I've not only donated over $200,000 for the statue, along with Golden Boy, but also really pressing with my business people about this Thornton Glenwood Joe Frazier's Community Center. Joe Frazier came in an era where you had a guy that took all the attention and he worthy of that attention. That is Muhammad the Great Ali. And then you had the big George Foreman, who, of course, you see what he done to Joe for 2 fights. But Joe was never really a great speaker. He didn't have the most greatest flashy style. Matter of fact, the style that he had was definitely a 10-year career, if you're lucky. But obviously he got more out of it at that time when 15 rounds and 15 rounds in the heavyweight division was so deep where the first 10 could have been champions easy today's world. And this is something that I'm attached to, the underdog. I'm attached to things and people that have everything against them. He's not too tall. Joe Frazier wasn't a big puncher in either hand. He was a hard worker. He continued, even though it was danger in some fights, to come forward, to break your spirit, to break your will, and anything else that's keeping you in front of him. It's a homage you pay to some individuals in the life. You pay homage. Whether you was privileged to meet them, privileged to talk to them, you pay homage, man. It's respect. We lost the respect of the founders that laid the path for the Hopkins, Floyd Mayweathers, and other fighters that tried to be champions. Somehow they fell short. It's a small token, a small gesture of thanks. And in the same breath, you helping, hopefully, some child or grown person, middle-aged person, or whoever, look at the food chart and say, you know what? I'm not going to eat stuff that's in a box that's supposed to be fresh, but it's frozen. I'm going to spend my money, even though I'm not rich, in the right quality way so I can give my kids or myself the better nutritions that I need for the future. You're only going to do these things if you recognize what it is. People don't move on anything unless they see the outcome and the benefits, same thing, and then they move out. But I'm a be in this thing just like I'm in it in boxing. I would be, what I mean by that is, listen, when we started Golden Boy, this is probably a good segue to get out. But just look at this. They think I'm very predictable, but I'm very unpredictable. They believe when I signed with Golden Boy as a partner, you heard the whispers. You weren't even around then at the time. No, you weren't.
I was watching on TV.
10 years ago, we've been together. And they said, Bernard is this, Bernard is that. He's not gonna last with Golden Boy. Y'all signing the wrong guy. They was feared of their relationship, their power. So it didn't work. We signed, we became partners, we became friends. We have each other's number. How's your holiday? Things good? You ready for the press conference? Yeah, see you next week. We never done that before when Richard Schaefer and everybody else was into him. Because if you divide power, it ain't as strong. If you divide power, it ain't as strong. If you take a group of people who's ignorant, and somehow one or two is not, everybody else soon will be aware of what's going on. They no longer ignorant, and so now you got a problem now because you can't control the situation no more. The moral of the story is I outlasted the haters because they didn't think we was gonna last. And now Richard is gone, I'm here, bigger position, bigger benefits, but they counted me out right before I signed. So who's God, you or it? I leave it on the table and I let them deal with it because they scratching. I ain't got time to scratch because I know. When you know, Dynamite, you just leave it there And why they doing this? The pause look, you slid out. Because now you don't want to get into that mess because you warned them. I'm Noah. It's sunny out. I'm building an ark. Think I'm crazy.